My name is Vanessa Hayes. Welcome to my studio. Today we will be painting this landscape using beginner-friendly, cost-efficient materials. The paper is Soho 25% cotton on a 5x7 block, purchased from Amazon in a 2-pack for about $12. The paint is Windsor & Newton Cotman Skechers Pocket Set on Amazon for about $20. My brushes are a number 8 Princeton Round Aqua Elite. You can find that at dickblick.com for about $15. And then I have a number 4 round and a number 1 rigger from Mimik. And that was purchased at Jerry's Artarama. Each of those were about $3. I am not sponsored by any of these companies or brands. Our palette is the Windsor & Newton Cotman Skechers Pocket Set, which has 12 half pans and a travel brush. The colors in this palette are lemon yellow, cadmium yellow, cadmium red pale, alizarin crimson, ultramarine, intense blue or phthalo blue, viridian, sap green, yellow ochre, burnt sienna, burnt umber, and Chinese white. The palette is a very good student grade paint, and the small palette is great for plein air painting. It comes with a very small travel brush that's cute but not very functional unless you're painting really small paintings. The brush appears to be about the size of a number 2 round. There's also a mixing area in the lid of the palette. I like to swatch the colors and keep the swatch inside the palette for easy color reference. I swatched on a larger page for you to better see the colors. Let's get started on our painting. I sketched out a horizon line and some mountains in the distance. There's also a line of trees in the midground. I also sketched out a fence in the foreground. Make the posts uneven in height and do not have them exactly vertical for a more natural look to the painting. I'm giving the paints a spritz of water to activate them before we get started. I'm wetting the sky area with my number 8 Princeton Aqua Elite down to the mountains. And then I'm using the phthalo blue over the sky, leaving white areas for clouds. I'm picking up some ultramarine to put into the upper sky area for more intensity. I want to break up the stark white of the clouds, so I picked up some yellow ochre and I'm painting in the lower side of the clouds with a very watered down velvet. I'm doing the same with a little light alizarin crimson for some pink in the clouds. I'm softening the transition line of the sky and the mountains so we don't have two hard edges meeting. I'm mixing alizarin crimson, ultramarine, burnt sienna, and burnt umber for a soft, natural gray for the distant mountains. I'm using a watered-down consistency for a lighter tone in the mountains, and I'm working my way across and down to the horizon line. And I'm adding in some Sap Green to blend into the wet paint. I'm dotting in some gray for shadows. And I'm adding a little more gray to the left side of the mountains. Now I'm softening the top edge of the mountains. And I'm lifting out on the right side of each mountain where the sun would be hitting. To speed things up, I'm drying the wet paint in the mountain area with the dryer. I decided to tape off the fence posts to make it easier to paint the grass area and not have to negatively paint around the posts. This will allow consistency with my paint in the grass and be able to get a clean color on the fence post. And I'm using a 1/4 inch washi tape and laying it where I sketched out the fence posts. I'm starting with yellow ochre in the grass area as my lightest value. I'm varying the intensity, and I'm not painting the entire area with this color, leaving plenty of white space. I'm mixing ultramarine Then I pick up Sap Green. I think I need some burnt umber also in this mix. And this is going to be for the trees in the midground. I'm painting shapes to indicate trees. And I'm also picking up some of those colors straight from the pan to create some variety in the trees. Picking up some of the excess water and paint. I've added more sap green to the mix for the trees. I'm varying the colors and picking up the paint straight from the pan and also from the mix. And it's a thinner consistency than it was for our tree line. I don't want my grass area to look flat, and I don't want all the colors to look the same, so I'm varying the colors as I lay the paint down on the paper. Changing your colors up like this is an excellent way to give life to your paintings. Now I'm using my number 4 round brush and just touching up the mid-ground tree line. Now that the paint is dried, let's remove the tape to paint the fence posts. I'm using the number 4 round brush, and I'm painting burnt umber for the fence post. Now I'm picking up some of that gray mix and painting on the left side of the post for the shadow. And then on the right side, I'm lifting some of the paint for the highlights. We are repeating the same process for the rest of the post, so I've sped up the video. Mixing more sap green to that gray mixture, we'll use this to paint grass around the fence posts. I'm adding more grass to the foreground area for some more detail. And I'm just dragging my brush to create some texture. I'm mixing Ultramarine with burnt sienna, I think I'll pick up some burnt umber to go in this mix. I'm trying to get a dark blue-gray color. I'm using the No. 1 rigger to paint the fence on the posts. I remixed the gray for the fence, and I'm leaving the center of the fence open to give you the feeling you could just walk through the fence into that field. I'm still using my rigger brush, and I'm picking up Alizarin Crimson for some flowers around the posts. Wanted to add some extra color. And I'm just dropping in dots here and there for the flowers. I need to lift out a little more highlight on these posts. And picking up some darker green, let's drop in some shadows. I think I want to brighten it up a little, so I'm going to add some burnt sienna. And we're done. Now let's remove the tape and take a look at the finished painting. The pigments are not as intense as artist grade paint like the Windsor & Newton Pro line, but the Cotman Yellow Ochre and Burnt Sienna paints are some of my favorites, comparable to the artist grade paints. If you are just getting started, this is not a bad set for beginners. The paper we used is a very good paper that's cheaper in price point than 100% cotton papers. The brushes I used are my go-to brushes, and they are very inexpensive. Do not let the cost hinder you from being creative. Good, inexpensive supplies are available to you, so get inspired to create. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please give a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications when my next video is up. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon.